everybody. Welcome to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. I am Eric on the bar for today. Kilchoman B.I.B. Bottled in bond? Nope. It is bourbon-influenced batch. As always here on the channel, I will give you a nose taste, a finish review of this fine single malt. I'll tell you a bit about the value, give you my final thoughts, final score, leave you with a malt musing. But first, if you've yet to take a second, smash that subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss these reviews. They come out every Friday here on YouTube, as well as my Tuesday happy hour every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so first things first, Kilchoman, one of the newer distilleries on Islay, been around, I think, a little bit over a decade now, perhaps a bit longer than that even. They are call themselves Islay's Farm Distillery because they are, of course, privately owned on a farm on the west side of the island. This whiskey in particular is, as I said, called the B.I.B. or bourbon-influenced batch. Now, most of the time when you think B.I.B., you think bottled in bond, which of course is has to do with the Bottled in Bond Act in the United States in the late 1800s around the quality of bourbon. Well, this is paying tribute to that. And this is what we are looking at. The specs here on this Kilchoman, this is a peated single malt, distilled 2012, bottled in 2021. This is a 9-year-old maturation. They have it written right on here. It is, let's see, 50% alcohol by volume. It does not say anything on here. Oh, yep, there it is. Right there in the gold letters. No chill filtration and natural color. Box it comes in has a little bit more info on it. Here's what it has to say. Kilchoman is, 2005. So yeah, about 15 years. True to the island's rich farm heritage, slow distillery by hand. This unique release is a collaborative project between Kilchoman and Impex. Impex is the importer here in the United States for Kilchoman. Tribute to the Bottled in Bond legacy of bourbon. This single malt is vatted from 5 ex-wheated bourbon barrels distilled in the spring of 2012, bottled in 2021. As I mentioned, 50% ABV, et cetera, classic looking Kilchoman box. So this is a peated single malt whiskey, naturally colored, no chill filtration. It is matured in ex-wheated bourbon barrels. That's the tail of the tape here on this Kilchoman. Let's get it in the glass. There is the nice natural color. It is great. I will just mention anecdotally to see an age statement on a Kilchoman, as they have been, the years go by, they are increasingly having older and older whiskeys. So cool to see an age statement on this of 9 years old. Let's get into the nose. Right away, heat, smoke. There's a bit of an earthiness to it. There's a bit of a medicinal note to it as well. So you're getting the classic Islay peat smoke here. It's a bit on the sharp side with some citrus notes coming through too. And beneath that is bits of honey, maybe a little bit of yellow fruit, but much more, we're talking kind of light vanillas, caramel, almost like a grain cracker note. When you get past the peat smoke, it's a bit gentle. Interesting. Yeah, so we're getting basically kind of a smoke, bourbon influenced sweetness, not much in the way of fruit notes, a little bit of spice. Okay, let's give it a taste. Cilantro. Quite a nice mouthfeel. It has some viscosity to it. Flavors are a bit rounded. So that age, even though young, 9 years is still young, single malt Scotch whiskey. This is definitely showing a bit more maturation than some of the younger Kilchomans that I've had. Immediately, you're getting light caramel, like slight cinnamon notes, some vanilla, some maybe even like Werther's candy toffee flavor, butterscotchy. Goes right into the hit of smoke and peat. This is much more on the smoky side, ashy, almost like a bit of a charcoal kind of note. Medium on the finish. You're left with some kind of bready, yeah, I mean, like literally bread notes, which makes sense from the wheated bourbon. This is definitely gentle in terms of its flavor profile, which makes sense considering the wheated bourbon nature of the maturation. Wheated bourbon tends to be a bit on the, palatable, kind of sweet, inoffensive side. There's not always a lot of depth or complexity to it per se. Do one more sip here, neat. Really nice arrival. A bit more sweetness coming through now. There's that citrus again. It is kind of on the slight orange, slight lemon side of things. A bit sharp. Again, ashy smoke. Tiny little bit of earthiness. Oak cast showing up a bit more now. So you're getting a bit more spice and backbone on this whiskey. It goes into a medium finish again, kind of like almost like breakfast toast with maybe honey or brown butter, even. Okay. Let me actually put a bit of water on this. We're going to put about 4 drops on this just to bring it down a bit in the ABV. See what else we can get out of this whiskey. Okay, so going back into the nose with water. And again, I do recommend that almost in all cases, you definitely try a whiskey neat, but putting water on it is just as important. It breaks up those molecules, allows it to open up, brings a little bit more of the flavor profile to the forefront. I'm almost getting a slight floral quality to this. Rose water, rose petal. Again, very sweet, light on the nose. These are not bold, heavy flavor notes hitting you. Again, vanilla, like confectionery sugar, almost like a vanilla icing on like a donut or something like that. Peat smoke and stuff still in the back. Getting a little bit of salinity on this now too. So getting, I guess, what you call kind of maritime notes. Fresh, maybe a little bit grassy even, and there's that honey. Okay, we'll go for another taste here. The viscosity taking a little bit of a step back on the initial palate, but you are getting a bit more of a kind of fresh yellow fruit note. So I'm thinking like, like a yellow apple kind of thing. Honey is still there. The toffee, the butterscotch, that kind of yeasty, bready note, a little bit of that still there. You get to the second half of the development as it going into the finish. Again, you get that hit of the ashy peat smoke. It does have a little bit of depth in terms of its kind of maritime qualities to it. Seaweed, maybe, something like that. As weird as that sounds. Finish is shortened up a little bit. This is more of a short medium finish, and it's a bit drier now too. So really what we're looking at here is a kind of a nice relaxed peated whiskey. Much on the sweeter side. Again, the more like delicate weeded bourbon cask notes. With a little bit of spice in the background and some smoke. Okay. So a bottle of this has been just recently released here in the end of 2021 here in the United States. These bottles are going for right around between that $90 to $100 range here in the United States. While you are getting that 9-year age statement, which is, again, not something you see often from Kilchoman given the youth of their distillery. They all, I'm going to put this kind of in that medium low value range, particularly because, they have just so many releases, particularly that are almost full bourbon cask that are coming in at a little bit of a less price. Not quite as relaxed of a whiskey, but about half the price you can get a bottle of them. Their B.I.B, which is one of their flagship core range whiskeys. Gives you a similar profile, a bit more on the aggressive side. But so yeah, I'm going to go with the medium low on the value of this bourbon influence batch. Okay, so final thoughts here. Kilchoman B.I.B. First of all, interesting release, interesting choice of the weeded bourbon casks. If you are a fan of bourbon or more of a Scotch drinker who doesn't know a lot about bourbon, weeded bourbon casks, weeded bourbon generally tends to be, again, on the lighter, sweeter side. It doesn't have the backbone and spice complexity that you get out of something that has a bit of rye in it. So naturally, that is what's being imparted here in this single malt. Really, I'm not finding it all that deep or interesting because of that. This is just a very relaxed, peated single malt. It's bottled with integrity, with now chill filter natural color, 50% ABV. These are all good things. The 9-year age statement is also a definite plus. But I do think that those looking for those kind of bold Islay flavors might find this whiskey a bit on the lacking side. If you're looking for something a bit more refined in a smoky Islay Scotch, then this might be something you'd be interested in. But I personally find that, this is, it's a bit light, a bit flat, and honestly, not quite doing it for me. So, given that and the price that they're asking for this release, I do believe this is a US release only. I'm going to give this just a solid 3 out of 5. So, worth giving it a taste if you find a bottle at a good price. And again, this style really speaks to you. Fork over the, $100 some or $90 that you can find it for. Hopefully you can get it a little bit cheaper, but otherwise, not necessarily one of the more interesting releases that I've had from Kilchoman, and not quite as flavorful and interesting as I would expect as something at 9 years old. So 3 out of 5, that is my final score on the Kilchoman B.I.B. Bourbon Influence batch. Let me know in the comments. Have you had this one before? Tell me what you think. Do you agree, disagree with my assessment of this? Do you have other Kilchomans that you enjoy? Are there stuff from the distillery that you don't particularly recommend? Love to hear what you think about Kilchoman in the chat. And until next Friday, I'll raise a glass to you, Solange, and I'll catch you next time here on Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews.